Um, Here, I'll zoom in here. So first of all, you need to we need to create a class. We need to create a blueprint for. In this case, we're not making oh crap. We're not making students. Making students. We're not creating student objects. We're creating airplane objects. So for class declarations, you capitalize the first letter. So that's how you separate a class from a like a function or a method or something like that. Your first letter is going to be capitalized. Class, and then for right now, we don't necessarily have to get into the insides of the class. We can kind of we can just write pass, which will it doesn't do anything when you run the code, but it makes sure that it doesn't give you an error. So we'll just write pass for now, and then we'll give the, sorry, my bad, parentheses. Yes, parentheses at the end, just like functions and methods. We'll give the airplane some attributes. So airplanes have I guess you would say they have like a model name, like a model designation, right? Like a Boeing 737 or Airbus A330 or something. So we can give this is not inside the class declaration, but this is just showing that in Python you can. Oh, my bad. Sorry, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So we've created the class, but now we need an object. We need the actual airplane. We need to represent the airplane in the code. And to create an object in Python, you what you do is you create a variable. So we can call this airplane. We'll just call it plane one. All right, and that's just a simple variable. That's what we've been dealing with so far. So yeah, just checking. Yeah. So this is just a variable. This is what we've been working with so far. Variables are going to stick with us forever, so doesn't matter what you call it. And then when you create an airplane, you type out the class of the class of the object you want to make. And what this is doing, this is creating what you call an instance of the airplane class. So it's now we have a airplane object essentially. Plane one is an airplane object. Plane one is an instance of class airplane. Cool. That kind of makes sense. Yeah.
There's not supposed to be parentheses after airplane in the class.
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Why does it give me squiggly lines? Sorry, guys. Yeah, ignore the squiggly lines. They're just for formatting. It doesn't affect the running of the code. It does look kind of ugly, though. Anyways, we have now created an airplane object. Okay, so that's this step. And we can give this airplane attributes. Plane one, and then we can give it. We can give it an attribute wingspan, perhaps. Right? Yeah, wingspan, and then we could say we can give it an integer. Say like 100. Usually there would be a unit, but we'll just say it's like yards or something. We can give it like a model designation, right? And we'll call it a string. Going 737. What other? We could say a capacity for passenger capacity, right? And then what's the capacity of a Boeing 737? Like 150 people, something like that. But now we've given this airplane object some attributes, some characteristics that we can use in the future. But if you're thinking of it, this is obvious. Airplanes are real world things. In the future, you might not be building. You could be building like a button or something in a game, perhaps. obviously the attributes would be different, but this is just how you could declare them. And I'll show you in the future there's a better way of doing it, but this definitely works. And say you want to know what the wingspan of our plane 1 is, you just do plane1.wingspan, and that will give us, I don't know, this is kind of small, but it says 100 down there if you can't see. So what this is doing is it's looking for it's looking for the variable, and then that variable refers to a airplane object, and it's looking in the airplane object, and that airplane object has a wingspan of 100. So there you go. Now you can figure out what you can also do the same for model and passenger capacity. So that is giving an object attributes, and we can also give the object we can also give the object like methods. As I was saying, methods are what objects can do. So a simple one would be what would an airplane do in real life? We would say like fly from one area to another. So I guess if you want to make like a plane tracker, right, you would have to create another attribute. Yeah, you would need to make another attribute, say like location, right? Like where is the airplane in the world? You have the name, you have the passenger capacity. You could even make like an ID number, or like a flight number or something, right? If you were creating something in real life, to keep track of your fleet of airplanes. But we'll give it a location. We'll say I don't know, Chicago or something. But say perhaps that we wanted to create a method for this airplane so that we could change the location, because airplanes fly around. That's what they do. That's the whole point of an airplane. So we need to be able to change the location. We need to have it actually fly somewhere. These ones probably won't change your passenger capacity unless you like change the configuration of your airplane, I guess. Won't change, and your model designation won't change, your wingspan won't change, but your location definitely will. So inside the class, we're gonna create a method. So if you guys have done Java, we're kind of going a little backwards, I guess. We will get to constructors after this, but we're gonna create a method for our airplane class. So for methods, it's the same as functions. So you're gonna do just def for definition, and then def, and you're gonna do the name of the function. So I guess we would do like fly airplane, or name of the method, my bad, fly airplane. And then inside, you see it auto gives me, for the parameters, it auto gives me this parameter called self. And when you're using, this is different than for functions. You're always going to have a parameter self, even if your function doesn't, like if my function just said pass, you still need the parameter self. But obviously we want our function to do something, so we will give it a say like new location parameter, and then we would you would be able to set what you need to do is self dot location, and you'll get to new location. And you can even make this location, you can make these both location if you want, but we'll say new location just to make it less confusing for now. Why is it giving me a squiggly line? Yeah. But what this function does essentially is it self in Python is analogous to this in Java. So this self, this is gonna get a little confusing. Self is gonna refer to the instance of the airplane that we're calling it on. So in this case, plane one is the object. So self here is gonna be replaced by plane one. So it's kind of gonna be the same thing that's happening down here. Essentially, this is the same function, right? This is doing the same. But you could just change the location using this. But if you wanted to say something else, like if you want to give the plane like a fuel, and the fuel is at like 22,000 liters initially, your function could just change the fuel level to say like it subtracts, or like you multiply by a half, right? Something like that. Doesn't matter. Obviously planes don't fly with a full tank and then get half of the tank, or that wouldn't be efficient, but that doesn't matter. The point is that you have a you can write methods and they will do something to the object in question. And when you are referring to the object, you use self. Does that make sense? It's a little confusing, but self is, if you want to think about it, is being replaced by whatever object is being called on. So in this case, plane one. So plane one would be here, and then it would change. So we should be able to call this, and it will work. So why don't we do plane dot, and then to call a method, you do fly. Oh, my bad, plane one. It's called plane one. And if you look down here, it actually PyCharm gives it to us. So we could just click on it, and then we would have to set a new location in this case. You don't have to type anything for self. So we could say New York, and then down here we could print the new location, and it will have changed to New York. And if we print the new fuel, it will be now 1,000 liters, or 1,000. So that's kind of how Python methods work. You can create methods, whatever you want the airplane to do. If it was a student, you could have the student say its name. You print out its name. My name is Kevin, and I am 18 years old. I go to CB South. If it was a Apple, I guess you could say you could change the level of freshness of the apple, I guess. So you can go from from ripe to spoiled or something. I don't know. You wouldn't usually, create an apple, but the point is you can create methods to have the object do something.